Making headlines this hour. President Dr. Mohamed Muiz strongly condemned the Israeli occupation authorities' plan to take control of Gaza, Palestine. The Ministry of Health launches a nationwide public opinion study to assess the feasibility of offering financial incentives to island communities that achieve complete cessation of tobacco use. And the Maldives Zakat House formally opens public registration for the second International Zakat Conference, or INZAC 2025, a one-day symposium scheduled for the 23rd of August. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Abdullah Ahil. And now the news in English. President Dr. Mohamed Muiz strongly condemns the Israeli occupation authorities' plan to take control of Gaza, Palestine. In a social media post, the president described such actions as a blatant violation of international humanitarian law and a grave infringement on the Palestinian people's right to self-determination. In his post, the president said the decision would only deepen the suffering in the occupied Palestinian territories and pose a serious threat to lasting peace and regional stability. The president reaffirmed the Maldives' unwavering support for the Palestinian people, stressing that any attempt to seize control of Gaza or undermine Palestinian authority and sovereignty was unacceptable. The president further called on the international community to take urgent and concrete measures to prevent the implementation of Israel's plan to further control Gaza and Israeli aggression in Palestine and ensure accountability for all violations committed in the occupied Palestinian territories. The Maldives strongly condemned the Israeli occupation authorities' plan to take control of Gaza, Palestine. A statement issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said such actions constitute a blatant violation of international humanitarian law. The Maldives reiterated that any attempt to seize control of Gaza and dismantle Palestinian governance in Gaza is a direct assault on their right to self-determination and is a clear violation of international norms. The Maldives urged the international community to take decisive and urgent measures to prevent the implementation of Israeli plan to take control of Gaza and to hold Israel accountable for all violations committed in the occupied Palestinian territories. The statement also reaffirmed the Maldives' firm and unwavering support for the just and legitimate rights of the Palestinian people, including their right to self-determination and to an independent and sovereign state of Palestine based on the pre-1967 borders with East Jerusalem as its capital. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Abdullah Khalil, sends a message of condolence to the Minister for Foreign Affairs of Ghana, Samuel Okudizito Ablakha, following the death of Ghana's Defense Minister and Minister of Environment, Science and Technology and other key officials in a tragic military aircraft crash in the Ashanti region. The message read, quote, "It is with deep sadness that I learned of the unfortunate incident involving a military aircraft crash which led to the ultimate death of Hon Edward Omane Boma, Minister of Defense of Ghana, Hon. Ibrahim Murtala Muhammad, Minister of Environment, Science and Technology, and other key officials of Ghana. On behalf of the government and people of the Maldives, I extend our heartfelt condolences to the government and the people of Ghana, particularly to the families and loved ones of those affected by this tragic incident." End of quote. The message further stated that the Maldives stands in solidarity with the people of Ghana as during this time of national mourning and offered assurance of the minister's highest consideration. The Minister of Health launches a nationwide public opinion study to assess the feasibility of offering financial incentives to island communities that achieve complete cessation of tobacco use, marking a significant step in the government's intensifying campaign against smoking. The initiative forms a core component of a 5-year master plan being developed in collaboration with the World Health Organization, aimed at building a tobacco-free society across the country. Designed to inform the broader strategy, the study seeks to gauge public sentiment on the prospect of awarding monetary benefits to entire island populations that successfully eliminate tobacco consumption, the Health Ministry said. It also examines perceptions of community awareness, identifies challenges encountered during policy implementation, and highlights areas for future improvement. Ministry officials have highlighted that all participant data will be treated with strict confidentiality and used exclusively to guide future tobacco control efforts. The master plan, initiated by President Dr. Mohamed Muiz, will outline mechanisms to recognize socially active groups and confer awards upon islands that maintain tobacco-free status. It also proposes financial support for community-led social initiatives on recognized islands. At the heart of the strategy is a commitment to provide free, specialized treatment for individuals seeking to quit tobacco, with services available at health centers on every inhabited island. This framework builds upon a series of assertive measures already enacted by the government to reduce tobacco use nationwide. Among these is a ban on the importation of vaping products, which came into effect on the 15th of November 2024. The administration has also significantly increased duties on both traditional tobacco products and vapes, reinforcing its reliance on fiscal policy as a deterrent. Legislative reform has deepened the campaign through a landmark generational tobacco ban, which prohibits the sale, purchase, and use of tobacco for all individuals born in the Maldives on or after the 1st of January 2007. The amendment to the Tobacco Control Act, recently ratified by President Muiz, extends the prohibition to all future generations born after that date, an unprecedented step in the nation's public health policy. Public engagement remains central to the government's approach, exemplified by the nationwide awareness campaign Dafara, which continues to educate citizens on the health risks associated with tobacco use and promote cessation. The Maldives Zakat House formally opens public registration for the second International Zakat Conference, or INZAC 2025, a one-day symposium scheduled for the 23rd of August. Now, in its second iteration, the conference seeks to reinforce the nation's zakat infrastructure with a particular emphasis on digital transformation and socio-economic advancement. The upcoming event builds on the foundation laid by its inaugural session in 2024, which brought together religious scholars, practitioners, policymakers, and community leaders. Organizers say this year's forum will expand that dialogue, offering a strategic platform to refine the governance and operational effectiveness of zakat, Islam's obligatory charitable contribution, as a mechanism for social welfare and economic stability. Long regarded as a cornerstone of Islamic social finance, zakat is designed to redistribute wealth and support vulnerable populations. INZAC 2025 will explore how this principle can be adapted to address contemporary challenges, including those arising from the digital economy. The Zakat House has indicated that particular attention will be given to the integration of digital technologies in zakat administration, as well as the implications of income generated through online platforms. To facilitate broad participation, registration has been made publicly accessible through a dedicated online portal available on forms.gle. The Zakat House said an accompanying information sheet outlines key details for prospective attendees. The Consumer Price Index, or CPI, report released by the Maldives Bureau of Statistics, or MBS, figures show that prices of essential services fell by 2.99% during the past 12 months.
representative basket of goods and services published by households indicating the level of inflation experienced by consumers. It remains a crucial indicator for monitoring inflation and erosion of living standards and is used to adjust things like social security programs and state income tax brackets for inflation. According to the CPI, for the past 12 months since June 2025, the price of essential services, including housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuel groups, fell by 2.99%. The report said the main contributor to this fall was the decrease in the unit price of electricity services used by consumers. The statistics showed tobacco prices have risen the most in the past year, followed by cafes and restaurant categories. Over the past year, prices for tobacco products have risen 55.94%, while prices for restaurants and cafes have risen 29.26%. Drop in prices in June include fish 1.20%, household appliances 2.34%, recording equipment 1.88%, airline tickets 0.73%, and cycle 0.32%. Fruits, milk, and dairy products rose the most in June according to the data. The report showed that fruit prices rose by 3.20%, milk, dairy products, and onions by 1.22%, and vegetables by 0.83%. The Maldives Central Bank had forecast a higher inflation rate this year, with estimates indicating that inflation will rise to 3.9% next year from 0.8% this year as the fiscal reform measures come into effect next April. However, the government has said that inflation is not expected to rise much higher as increase in the cost of living is offset by government subsidies and other social assistance programs along with fiscal reforms and current prices of goods and services in the world market.
Maldives Media Council, or MMC, extends the deadline to submit nominations for its journalism awards. MMC said the opportunity to submit nominations for this year's journalism awards has been extended until 1 p.m. on the 14th of August. Awards will be given in 14 categories in two main categories, the newspaper and magazine category and audio and video journalism category. Award categories include investigative journalism, social sector journalism, political journalism, the judiciary and the legal journalism, business and economic journalism, sports journalism, photojournalism, documentary sector, feature journalism, lifestyle, entertainment and arts journalism, environmental and sustainable development journalism, most promising journalist, Journalist of the Year Award, Best Regional Newspaper Award. The Media Council said the aim of the journalism awards include encouraging Maldivian journalists, recognizing their contribution and promoting ethical journalism, as well as improving the quality of their content. The Media Council annually awards prizes to winners in various fields of journalism. As in previous years, the awards will be given for the work produced last year. The MMC has been hosting the Journalism Award every year since 2014. Maldives Ports Limited, or MPL, pledges to undertake a comprehensive overhaul of the Malé North Harbour in close collaboration with the fishermen who rely on its facilities following the expression of long-standing concerns from the community.
The state-owned enterprise assumed management of the harbor in June, initiating a series of efforts aimed at improving operational efficiency, alleviating spatial constraints, and introducing essential amenities. The North Harbor, encompassing the fish market and the quay wall adjacent to the local market, stands among the capital's busiest maritime zones, serving as a critical hub for daily vessel traffic. With oversight of the site now under MPL, the company has outlined proposed changes designed to enhance convenience for fishermen. At the center of its approach is a commitment to soliciting and incorporating feedback from those who use the harbor most. During the first meeting with members of the fishing community, Muhammad Rishwan, Chief Executive Officer of MPL and former Deputy Commissioner of Police, affirmed the company's dedication to resolving the challenges faced by fishermen and introducing new services tailored to their operational needs. These include improved access to water, electricity, ice and fuel, resources essential to daily fishing activity. These include access to water, electricity, ice and fuel, resources essential to daily fishing activities. Although Rishwan acknowledged that a full resolution to the harbor's acute space limitations is unlikely before the end of 2027, he highlighted that immediate steps are being taken to ease congestion and deliver necessary services. That commitment was echoed by Mohammad Mouin, Deputy Chief Executive Officer of MPL, who confirmed that implementation of the proposed changes, particularly those affecting fishermen, will proceed swiftly and in alignment with their input. The revised plan for North Harbour Zone H includes the designation of 2 berths exclusively for fishing vessels arriving from outer islands. To preserve the integrity of these zones, MPL announced that migrant workers will be prohibited from conducting business within the harbor and that strict enforcement measures will be applied to prevent unauthorized cargo activity. Security upgrades form another pillar of MPL's enhancement strategy. Surveillance cameras and checkpoints are slated for installation to ensure a safe and orderly operation environment for all users of the harbor.
Bank of Maldives, or BML, announces the opening of applications for its startup grant for the year 2025. In celebration of BML Islamic's 10th anniversary, a third business will be awarded the grant this year, an increase from the regular 2 recipients awarded annually. Each of these businesses will receive a grant of $32,425, and along with financial support, the bank will provide comprehensive financial advice to guide the winners in successfully executing their business plans. Individuals and newly registered businesses are eligible to apply. BML's CEO and Managing Director Mohammed Sharif said the startup grant is part of the bank's commitment to support businesses and strengthen its relationship with the startup ecosystem in the Maldives. Applications must be emailed to startupgrant@bml.com.mv before 4 p.m. on the 7th of September. The BML Startup Grant was launched in 2022 and is targeted for emerging entrepreneurs to win funding to start or grow a business in the Maldives. OpenAI launches its GPT-5 artificial intelligence model, the highly anticipated latest installment of a technology that has helped transform global business and culture.
OpenAI said OpenAI's GPT models are the AI technology that powers the popular ChatGPT chatbot, and GPT-5 will be available to all 700 million ChatGPT users. The big question is whether the company that kicked off the generative AI frenzy will be capable of continuing to drive significant technological advancements that attract enterprise-level users to justify the enormous sums of money it is investing to fuel these developments. The release comes at a critical time for the AI industry. The world's biggest AI developers, Alphabet, Meta, Amazon, and Microsoft, which backs OpenAI, have dramatically increased capital expenditures to pay for AI data centers, nourishing investor hopes for great returns. These 4 companies expect to spend nearly $400 billion this fiscal year in total. OpenAI is emphasizing GPT-5's enterprise prowess. In addition to software development, the company said GPT-5 excels in writing, health-related queries, and finance. Nearly 3 years ago, ChatGPT introduced the world to generative AI, dazzling users with its ability to write human-like prose and poetry, quickly becoming one of the fastest-growing apps ever. In March 2023, OpenAI followed up ChatGPT with the release of GPT-4, a large language model that made huge leaps forward in intelligence. While GPT 3.5, an earlier version, received a bar exam score in the bottom 10%, GPT-4 passed the simulated bar exam in the top 10%.
A United Nations spokesperson says that any decision that expanded Israel's military operations in Gaza was deeply alarming after Israel's political security cabinet approved a plan to take control of Gaza City.
Asked to react to the plan, a spokesperson, Alessandra Vellucci, said it would risk catastrophic consequences for millions of Palestinians and further endanger the lives of remaining Israeli hostages. She quoted a statement by the UN's human rights chief, Volker Turk, saying the war should end immediately, Israel should allow full access to humanitarian aid in Gaza, and Palestinian armed groups should release Israeli hostages.
Yes, of course, we have seen the announcements of the Israeli cabinet, and I can say that if confirmed, this we'll see what happens, but any decision to expand Israel's military operations in Gaza are deeply alarming. And obviously, it is clear that this would risk catastrophic consequences for millions of Palestinians and could further endanger the lives of the remaining hostages in Gaza. It has to be really clear. We really stand firmly on any escalation of the conflict.
Israel's decision came after multiple failed attempts to mediate a ceasefire and amid a rising international outcry over images of starving Palestinian children, underlining a deepening humanitarian disaster in the shattered enclave.
Nabil Abu Rodaineh, spokesperson for Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, rejected on Friday, August 8, Israel's decision to take control of Gaza City. He told Reuters that Palestinian presidency is in a constant contact with Arab leaders and with the world to condemn and reject Israel's action and to exert efforts at all levels to stop this aggression.
Israel's political security cabinet approved a plan to take control of Gaza City early on Friday, hours after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel intended to take military control of the entire strip, despite intensifying criticism at home and abroad over the devastating almost two-year-old war. Two government sources said any resolution by the Security Cabinet would need to be approved by the full cabinet. Hamas, in a statement, called Netanyahu's comments a blatant coup against the negotiation process. The statement said, quote, Netanyahu's plans to expand the aggression confirm beyond any doubt that he seeks to get rid of his captives and sacrifice them, end of quote. Arab countries would only support what Palestinians agree and decide on, a Jordanian official source told Reuters, adding that security in Gaza should be handled through legitimate Palestinian institutions. Earlier this year, Israel and the United States rejected an Egyptian proposal backed by Arab leaders that envisioned the creation of an administrative committee of independent professional Palestinian technocrats entrusted with the governance of Gaza after the war. Opinion polls show most Israelis want the war to end in a deal that would see the release of the remaining hostages. The White House had no immediate comment. President Donald Trump has declined to say whether he supported or opposed a potential full military takeover of Gaza by Israel.
Griffin Colapinto of the United States bolsters his world title ambitions with a commanding performance, posting an excellent two-wave total to progress to the men's round of 16 at the Tahiti Pro.
South Africa's Jordy Smith, a seasoned CT competitor, narrowly avoided another early round elimination after recently surrendering his position atop the rankings. San Clemente's Cole Hoshmand was among the standout performers of the day. The American delivered two excellent rides to send Australia's Ethan Ewing, a hopeful for the final five, into the elimination round. Frenchman Coley Vost, a local favorite with an impressive track record at Chopo, showcased his skills with a clinic in precision surfing. Vost, who boasts a CT runner-up finish and an Olympic gold medal at this venue, remains a formidable competitor whenever the tour visits his hometown. Italy's Leonardo Fioravanti also advanced alongside Brazilians Italo Ferreira and Iago Dora, Australia's Jack Robinson and Mexico's Alan Cleland, rounding out a competitive field for the next stage of the tournament. The Tahiti Pro continues to deliver drama and high-quality surfing as the world's best riders battle for supremacy in one of the sport's most iconic locations.
Artificial intelligence is helping barn owl conservation efforts in the south of England by counting baby barn owls by listening to them, eliminating the need for chicks to be ringed or disrupting their nests to install video cameras. The AI model, developed by a PhD student at Bournemouth University, is designed to count barn owl chicks by analyzing their hissing noises to give conservationists more data about the health of barn owl populations. Brian Cresswell, an engineer and ecologist who records the sound of barn owl chicks in a nest for the project, told Reuters barn owls are quite difficult to monitor because people don't often see them.
Because the barn owls are protected by law, and not just the barn owls but barn owl nests, it's important not to disturb them ever, apart from unless you have a license to do so. So when you put a recorder up, you can't put it in the nest, and you don't need to because they're loud anyway. So you put the recorder some distance away in order not to disturb the bird but still be able to record the hissing.
The audio files are processed by Kavisha Jayatunga and then analyzed for tiny differences that the human ear can't recognize.
They're reasonably inexpensive for a clever little device. And we set these up so they record just during the hours of darkness, and then we can run them for about a week before they need to be downloaded and the batteries changed. I use this little device most of the time. This is called an audio moth, and it's a little sound recorder which we can set up to record just during the night or part of the night, and you can leave it for a week or so and it will collect the data for you, so you don't have to do it every single night. And that collects sound files which then I hand over to Cavi to analyse.
Despite being in the early stages, the technology has demonstrated its potential by successfully identifying 3 owlets from audio recordings from a nest in Cresswell's back garden. This data is essential for monitoring barn owl breeding success, which varies significantly across years and sites. The AI model also provides insights into the behavior of young owls, particularly their hissing sounds, which could reveal feeding negotiations and hunger levels crucial for understanding breeding outcomes. The long-term aim is to enable volunteers and conservationists to use audio recorders in nature to capture owlet sounds without disturbing nests.
And that's all the news we have for today. We'll be back with any further updates. Until then, I'm Abdullah Ahil from TSN News.